Hello students, so welcome to the pole science class of class 10, and we will today start with the topic related to the chapter federalism. And in the previous class we had completed up to here, that is what are the list and how the state and central government works actually, and between them how the coordination are. And today we will start with the list that I had told you earlier about this list. That means there are three lists: union list, state list and concurrent list. So today we will start with these three lists and we will see what are the subjects that comes under this list. So let's proceed then. So we will start first with this union list. Union means central, that means central government. What are the subjects that are included in this central government's list? So the union list includes subjects of national importance such as defense, number one, of the country, then foreign affairs, then banking, communication and currency. So in the union list, what are the subjects that are being included? That means the central government looks after these four subjects, namely what? Defense of the country, number one. Then it looks after the foreign affairs, followed by banking and communications and currency. Clear? This comes under union list. After that, they are included in this list because we need a uniform policy on these matters throughout the country. And one reason is there why these 4 subjects are included or given to the union or central government. And what are these 4 subjects? That are defense, foreign affairs, banking, communications and currency. So these 4 subjects are given to the central government because these 4 subjects needs what? A uniform policy. That means these subjects needs one policy for all. That means if these subjects are given to different state governments, they will make policy according to their own wish. For that reason, these 4 subjects are given to the union government so that the union government can prepare a uniform policy. That means a policy that is equal for all the states, that will be equal regarding defense, foreign affairs, banking, communications and currency. All these 4 subjects the union government will make a uniform policy which will be applicable or applied throughout the whole country. That means every state should follow this uniform policy. Whatever the policies will be there, this will be applicable for all the states present in the country. That's why these 4 subjects are given to the union government. The union government alone can make laws relating to the subjects mentioned in the union list. And lastly, what it is written, the union government alone can make laws relating to the subjects mentioned in the union list. That means what? Regarding defense of the country, regarding foreign affairs, regarding banking sector and regarding communications and currency. This or based on these 4 subjects, who can only make laws? The central government has only power to make laws. The state government cannot come and make laws or make changes relating to these 4 subjects. Clear? Now come to the state list. State list means the respective states, or you can say the state government. State list contains subjects of state and local importance such as police, trade, commerce, agriculture and irrigation. So state list or state, what are the state government provided with the subjects of? The state government are provided with the subjects such as which are of local importance actually, which are locally related, such as what? Police. Police is prevalent everywhere in the state. Clear? Then trade, then commerce, and last agriculture and irrigation. So these 4 subjects are of local importance in each and every state. Clear? So for this reason, the state list contains these 4 subjects. Which are the 4 subjects? That starts with police, followed by trade, then followed by commerce, and last agriculture and irrigation. This comes under the state list. State governments alone can make laws relating to the subjects mentioned in the state list. Likewise, we read in the first list, that is union list, that the subjects related to foreign affairs, defense, banking and communications and currency, as the union government has only power to make laws relating to these subjects. Likewise, the state lists which are included, such as police, trade, commerce, agriculture and irrigation, these 4 subjects can only be legislated by whom? By the state government, and no central government's interference is allowed in this legislation. Or you can say that state or government alone can make laws relating to the subjects mentioned in the state list, which are what? Which are police, trade, commerce and agriculture. So based on these 4 subjects, the state government can only make laws, and interference of central government or union government is not allowed under these 4 subjects. Clear? So moving on to the third list, that is concurrent list. This concurrent list includes subjects of common interest to both union government as well as the state governments, such as education, forest, trade unions, marriage, adoption and succession. Clear? Besides union list and state list, what are the subjects that are included in the union list and the state list? Besides that, also one more list is there, which is known as concurrent list. So what is concurrent list actually? Concurrent list includes subjects which are what? Of common interest to both the union government as well as the state government. That means what? This could be important for the union government also and for the state governments also. That means it is of common interest. And what are the subjects that are common interest, or that can be both of a common interest to both the union government and the state government? These subjects are what? Number 1, education, common interest subject for both union government also, for state government also. Then forest, then trade unions, then marriage, then adoption and succession. So these 6 subjects are of common interest. That means these are necessary for the union governments also to look after, and for the state governments also to look after these subjects, which are included in concurrent list. Both the union as well as the state government can make laws on the subjects mentioned in this list. Because why it is so? Question might come that why the subjects included in the concurrent list gives the power to both the central and union government to make laws. And your answer would be what? Because the concurrent list includes subjects of what? Common interest. That means this is the whatever the subjects are there, like education, forest, trade unions, marriage, adoption and succession. These are the subjects of common interest to both the union government as well as the state government. That's why the union government and the state government both can make laws on the subjects mentioned in this list. Likewise, in the union list and in the state list, only the union government in the union list and the state government in the state list were given the powers. But in the concurrent list, both state government and central government can make laws. Clear? If their laws conflict with each other, the law made by union government will prevail. So as we come to know that the union government as well as the state government can make laws on the subjects that are provided in the concurrent list. So now, if their laws, whatever the laws the state government or the union government will make on the subjects such as education, forest, or marriage, or adoption, or trade unions. So, if their laws conflict with each other, that means if the laws made by union government clashes with the state governments and they do not match in some point of time, then what will happen? Suppose you assume that I am the central union government and you are state government. So I am making a law based on education, clear, and you are also making some laws based on education. So for suppose if my list and your list does not match and we do not agree on some point based on the laws made on education, then what will happen? In that case, the law made by union government. So who was the union government? In this case, I was the union government. So the law or the rules made by me will prevail. That means the laws made by union government will prevail. That means they have to abide by the law made by the union government. Clear? Not by the state government. So after this, what about the subjects that do not fall in any of the three lists, or subjects like computer software that came up after the constitution was made? According to our constitution, the union government has the power to legislate on these residuary subjects. So after that also, some subjects were not added, or assume that some subjects were not included, and one of those subjects was what? The computer software. Clear? When the constitution was made, the computer software was not, or the computer programming was not added in any of the list, be it the union list, be it the state list, or be it the concurrent list. So if this kind of subjects are not included in any of the three lists, then what happened? According to our constitution, the union government has the power to legislate on these residuary subjects, and whatever the subjects are not included in any of the three lists, these subjects are called as residuary subjects. Clear? And who has the power to make laws? The union government has the power to make laws on these residuary subjects. So you can say that the subjects which are not included in any of the above three lists, these are known as the residuary subjects. For example, the computer software. So based on the laws, who will make the laws? The union government will have a slight upper hand, or will have the power to make laws based on these residuary subjects. So we can see that the union government has more power compared to the state government in case of India. So let's move further. We noted above that most federations that are formed by holding together do not give equal power to its constituent units. Clear? Previously we read about the two types of federation. Out of that, the holding together federation, what it does, it do not give equal power to its constituent units. Clear? That means what? The holding together federation consists of a country called India. India also comes under this holding together federation, and according to this they do not give equal power. So we can also see that by the above example, that you can say that most of the powers are given to the central government and minimum powers are given to the state government. Clear? So this comes under what? Holding together federations. Thus all states in Indian Union do not have identical powers. So in this case what happens? All the states, whatever the number of states are there in Indian Union, they do not have same powers. Some states enjoy special status. Clear? Some states enjoy special status. Jammu and Kashmir has its own constitution. Many provisions of the Indian constitution are not applicable to this state without the approval of the state assembly. So earlier also I told you about J&K, that means Jammu and Kashmir, that some special powers it has achieved. Clear? They have their own constitution. You can say that they were having actually, but now in the year 2019 this article 370 and 35A was dismissed or abolished by the central government led by the NDA. Clear? So now you can say that Jammu and Kashmir also do not enjoys powers like its own constitution, own flag. It was until 2019, but in the year 2019 the article 370 and 35A, which were giving special powers to Jammu and Kashmir to have its own constitution, to have its own flag, and their chief minister was called as the Prime Minister of Jammu and Kashmir. So all these powers were abrogated. You can say that it was dismissed, abolished. Many provisions of the Indian Constitution are not applicable to this state without the approval of State Assembly, as I have told you earlier. It was earlier, but in the year 2019 all these powers were abolished. Indians who are not permanent residents of this state cannot buy land or house here. And one more system was also prevalent in Jammu and Kashmir, that if you are belonging from the state of Assam, if you are thinking that you are thinking of buying land or house in Jammu and Kashmir, this was not possible earlier. But now, after the abrogation of Article 370 and 35A, it is possible. And it is possible because of the fact that all their special powers were abolished. Now you can purchase house or land in Kashmir also. Similar special provisions exist for some other Indian states as well. And like Kashmir, whatever the facilities they were getting, like their own constitution, their own flag, and other states people cannot buy land or house there, whatever the special facilities they were given by the Indian Constitution, these were all abrogated. And likewise Kashmir, whatever the special powers Kashmir was enjoying earlier, Jammu and Kashmir was enjoying earlier, so this similar kind of provisions are there in other states also. So today we will wind up here only, and in the next part we will try to find out which are the other states that are having special provisions or they are enjoying special powers like Kashmir. Clear? So with this, I hope that whatever the points I have made you understood regarding the union list, the state list and the concurrent list, all are clear in your mind. And one more topic was also today discussed, that was residuary subjects. That means if any subjects are left out or are not included in any of the above three lists, they are known as the residuary subjects, and the union government looks after these residuary subjects. Clear? So with this I will wind up today's topic. Thank you.